Hey guys, this is John.
And I'm Ali.
And we've got something special for you today. You've never made pepperoni?
Never.
We've got some pepperoni that we've just made. We had some paprika, we had some encapsulated citric acid, we got it in the smoker, but we'll get to step-by-step instructions. For right now, it's time to taste test. Cheers.
It's so good.
That is pretty awesome.
Big fan.
First thing that we're going to cover is sanitation.
Okay.
So this is Maxim Hard Surface Sanitizer. We're going to spray it on to any surface that meat is going to touch. We're going to let it sit there for 60 seconds, and then we will just wipe it off. It's a no rinse sanitizer, really convenient for any type of meat processing we're doing. So 60 seconds, we just have to wait.
Do I have to like?
Nope, you don't have to do anything.
You
can just wait right there.
Just hang out.
And then after we sanitize those, we're actually going to sharpen up the knives we're going to be using today on the True Home.
Okay.
We've got some cut-resistant gloves, but a sharp knife generally isn't what causes an accident. It's usually a somewhat dull knife, or just me in general.
I was going to say, it feels like more of a user error sort of thing?
Or just me in general.
Okay.
I told Ali she had to wear a cut-resistant glove today, and she said, can I just not cut my hand?
I mean,
oh, if it was only that simple.
I think I could just not cut my hand, but that's fine.
There's all sorts of different cut-resistant gloves. These are ones that I don't even think are made anymore. They're called Hex Armor NXTs, and they just go on your non-knife hand, because that's generally where you're going to cut yourself. If you manage to cut yourself on your knife hand, you are doing something wildly wrong.
How many times have you done that, John?
Never done that.
Okay.
That I've never done. Okay, so we're just going to wipe off all that excess. And then again, we're going to do that every time we bring a new surface on here. And we're also, not with these, but with other things, we're going to be adding a lot of white oil to stuff because it makes cleanup a lot easier. And even though we have an intern now who's going to do our cleaning for us, we still want to make her job as easy as possible.
That's fair.
All right, so the first thing we're going to do is go get those pork butts. They're in the fridge. Just grab them all, put them all right out here. Here we've got our Longo pack.
Good God.
This is an awesome trash system.
It's the best. I swear by that thing.
It really is. When they first came in, I couldn't believe how excited everyone was for a trash can. But this has a repository of all the plastic up here. And you pull it down through, and then you make your bags. So you can make bags as long or as short as you want. They come in a couple different sizes. This is the larger one, and absolutely phenomenal. Now, we're going to cut these open from the plastic and then put them on these boards.
Okay.
We don't want to put the plastic on the board because we want to keep our sanitation.
Yep, fair.
You want to toss me?
I would say gloves next. Okay.
I'll take you want a large for your offhand. And then your...
Oh.
Yeah, because it's not going to fit. The small is not going to fit over that.
Sure. It's actually not bad. We've talked about many times that I have very small hands.
Very small hands.
And what size of glove is the underneath one?
You have, I think that's a medium, and this is a large.
Okay. So medium with a large glove on top is not bad for child-sized hands.
Correct. All right. And real quick, while we're doing that, I'm just going to run these knives through the True Home. That'll be yours.
Thank you. I'm good to go ahead and...
as long as you can cut it open and get it right onto the board.
This part I think I can do.
We'll get this out of the way.
We're doing
you having some problems there?
Oh, we're good. We're good. I'm not dropping knives. For sure.
Oh, you're taking 2 apparently.
Oh, I don't know. I just figured I would start undoing them.
Go for it. Nope, you're good.
Oh.
All right, so this is what we're going to use to make this type or style of pepperoni. This is a pork butt. Just got these at Sam's. I find Sam's generally has a little bit higher quality pork butts than what you're going to find at your local grocery store. I've complained endlessly recently, in the last couple of years at least, about how wet pork butts often are. As you can see, these do not have that accordion look to them, telling me that they've been definitely not pumped with anything and probably processed well.
Okay.
Now, the style of pepperoni we're making today is a little bit different than what you're going to buy at the store. When you get a pepperoni at the store, prepackaged, it's generally been a starter culture was used to achieve a pH drop, and then it was thermally processed.
Okay.
Right. We also have dry curing cabinets, which is going to be different from what you would buy in the store for the most part. Those are going to be pH dropped, and then we're going to remove enough moisture from them to get the texture we want. But those are never going to be thermally processed.
Okay.
These, we're not actually using any type of starter culture at all. We're just using the seasoning, some SureCure, some Excalibur Sure Gel, and some encapsulated citric acid, mostly to get that tang that we assume or we associate with pepperoni. In those other versions, they're not going to use an encapsulated citric acid because that pH is going to give you that tang.
Okay, so this is more of what I'm going to eat on a sandwich or pizza versus like a charcuterie board.
Yeah, this wouldn't be appropriate for a charcuterie board. You could put it on pizza for sure. I've done it. But you would almost consider this more of a summer sausage product.
Okay.
Now, it's definitely a pepperoni. It's got all the ingredients we need for a pepperoni, but it's not going to be exactly what you would get in the store, right? This is a smoked pepperoni. Okay. So first thing we're going to do, let's locate this bone. You got it?
I think so, yeah.
Facing up.
Yeah.
Then we're going to take our knife, starting right at the edge of this bone. We're going to cut down and then curve it back in. So what we're trying to do is separate the part of the meat that has 0 bones in it.
I don't think I'm doing that right.
Okay. Yep, let's see. Yeah, you caught a little bit of it right here. I can feel it. So you see that cartilage right there? That's how sharp that knife is. It cut pretty much right through that.
Shoot, that is sharp.
So yep, you're just going to go
see that coming.
Down and then in. So now we've separated non-bone from bone. Okay. So when we're looking at this, and we're going to try and do this fairly quickly, but we're going to also be careful. Get your fat cap down. Grab a hold of this meat on the top and just make a quick, easy slice. And you've separated pretty much all of the meat from the bottom of it. Yep, there you go.
I've deboned things before, but have never been taught like a way to do it. It was always just cut it off.
We can do that.
So this is very helpful.
So this is just because we're going to grind all this.
Yeah.
We can show you how we would do it if we wanted to debone it and then like smoke a boneless pork butt.
Yeah.
It just takes longer, and since we're grinding all of it.
No, I mean, even doing stuff for like any type of sausage or snack stick I've made in the past, it was just like, hey, just debone it as fast as you can.
Yeah.
And there was like, this just makes a difference. Thank you.
Yeah, it is a better way of doing it. Okay. So see how it kind of, it's a triangle. So grab towards the bottom and cut up along that bone. Now you're going to run into a bone as you go. A little bit higher.
There's a hair on my arm. Panic. Okay.
This is why we should make you wear hairnets.
I don't want to. This is why you should at your processing plant.
Okay, you're good there.
Good.
Now what we're going to do is from the top, we're just going to cut down to where we ran into that bone.
Here's a problem. My hands are not big enough to do this.
I did worry that cut-resistant glove would limit your dexterity enough.
I think my dexterity is limited.
Oh, you just think in general?
Myself.
Yeah. All right, so face the part that we've cut away towards you. Yep. And then towards the left side, you just kind of have to find where it is, cut down, and then away.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know how many hundreds of pork butts I've deboned in the last couple of years, but it's many hundreds, so there's a lot of it that is just feel.
Yeah, that's fair. We'll get better over time. Okay.
Okay. Then with the rest of the fat cap, pinch down. You can kind of feel yours is very narrow. So you're going to start right here and just cut down in like that. I've got a high fat cap here, so I can pinch down here and cut basically just right around it and get all that fat right off.
Yep.
Then we've got 2 little crevices in here that we want to get as much of that meat out of as possible. So yep, we're going to angle down and then just kind of work your knife around and get as much of it as you can out. Now, you can get every ounce of meat off this or every gram of meat off this.
I'll have that cleaned.
Or,
Did you cut yourself?
No.
How?
No, I didn't cut myself because I had the cut glove on. That was also just the tip. So I don't think it would have, I don't think that would have actually cut my skin.
Oh, I guess I did mine too.
See? Trying to make fun of me.
Yeah, I was. I get it though. With this, you can't feel, like, you don't feel where the end is, so you just can't see. And the gloves are massive.
So from here on, we're just kind of trimming stuff down.
Best we can.
Yep.
This part I get. I like this.
And then we're done.
Is that good?
Yep, that's very good.
Thank
that
you.
bone goes away.
Okay.
All right, and then we're going to switch sides here.
Question, can I make, like, soup out of that? Does that work that way? Just no, we don't do pork bones? Okay.
I don't think. I mean, definitely some people can or do that. Now, one definite thing with pork bones, you do not want to give these to your dog after like you would with a beef bone because they become brittle and they can shatter.
Okay.
But here, I'll do that one. I'm going to have you do this.
Okay.
And the way we like to do is cut everything into long strips so that it feeds well down into the grinder. So, easiest way to do that is just set this up like this. Cut down, and I'll have you use this knife too. It's sharper and a little bit easier to use on big things.
You want me to go ahead and do that with all this too?
Nope, I'll take care of that.
Okay.
So basically we're cutting it into a flat steak almost, and then just cut this down into strips like that.
The fat and the protein don't need to be separated, correct?
Correct. Okay. On some products we would want to do that, where we want to grind our fat and our protein separately. With a dry cured product, I do it a lot of the time, but it doesn't always need to be done.
That's weird. Okay, so how many times have you made pepperoni at this point?
This style?
We're gonna say in general.
In general.
In general.
A few dozen.
Okay, so then this style.
5 or 6 times.
Okay.
So the dry cured pepperoni is what I've made a lot of recently in the last 18 months or so.
Okay.
This is definitely an easier process. It'll be faster. There are less things we have to worry about. The finished product will be different, right? Like I said, it's not going to be the traditional store-bought pepperoni. It'll taste very, very similar to it. And it works great for sandwich pepperoni. It works great as just like a snack. I like to use it. I slice it thin, put some Swiss cheese, wrap it into rolls, and put it in the microwave for like 10 seconds.
That sounds good, but not with Swiss cheese.
No, Swiss cheese is the best cheese.
No. It's the best cheese?
Sick of this conversation. Yes.
No.
You Waltons and your hate for Swiss cheese.
If anybody has views on cheese, what the best cheese is, please drop it in the comments below because there's like Swiss is not the worst cheese.
It's definitely
There's
not
no
the worst
shot
cheese.
it can be the best cheese.
Well,
you ever had queso?
Yes.
They make that
my
out
God.
of Swiss cheese.
Is so much better than any.
You ever wanted to drink a bowl of Swiss cheese? No.
Have you ever wanted to drink a bowl of queso?
Yeah.
Oh, then something might. Your body needs more fats then. I made some rice the other day, and I had a single bowl of it. My body was just like, no, we need all of that.
Yeah. I don't know if that means your body needs more.
No,
of
it did.
Oh, did it?
Oh, yes.
Just a little low on carbs?
I guess so. Apparently, beer is not enough carbs for your body. It's actual carbs that you eat.
That's funny.
All right, so we've got this sanitized, sprayed it on there. Let it sit for 60 seconds. We're gonna do this. And then a really good tip that I feel like I've tried to get people to understand, but I don't know how many people are doing it, or to white oil your lugs. It just needs a slight hit of it. And this is gonna make cleaning out these lugs so much easier.
Okay.
It is absolutely amazing. Even if because we are going to put product that's already had its protein started to extract in here, so it'll be real sticky.
What's the purpose of using that over a lug liner?
You could use a lug liner if you wanted.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to put that on our scale first to make sure that we have we're not weighing the 1.7 pounds of this. Okay. And we want to get 25 pounds in there. Well,
until we hit 25.
Yeah.
But the meat?
There you go.
Aha!
Not bad.
Not bad, but not good.
Not good.
Are we going to hit 25 pounds?
Yeah, we should. 24, 24 and a half. Yep. 25.2.
No way.
So we pretty much have a perfect amount of meat here to use. We're not even going to have to weigh out at the end, because about 0.1 pound will stay in the mouth of the grinder, and I won't like to use that because it'll be worked twice.
Okay.
So yeah, that was perfect. I estimated very, very well when I was picking out my pork butts. So we've got our 22 grinder here. I've talked about it endlessly, but this is the one that we use in all of our processing videos. We're gonna sanitize up here. This is the 22 one-shot. So works a little bit differently than a regular grinder. Goes through a breaker plate or a kidney plate first, which is a little bit different looking than regular kidney plates. First, it's got this bigger hole, so it can sit all the way back on the auger stud. Then, instead of 3 kidney bean shaped things or kidney shaped things, it just looks like 3 drill bits were put through it. But this extra cutting surface really does seem to help, that these
okay, that makes sense.
Shapes yeah. Then we've got a 2-sided knife, and finally, whatever size plate we want to use. Now that is a 3/16 plate. 16ths. We are going to use a 1/8 plate because this is a cured product. We're just sanitizing our plate and knife here. This is the one-shot, and it works by having a larger kidney plate in the back with a huge hole, so it can sit all the way against this stud. Then we have a 2-sided knife, so it cuts it as it comes through this plate and before it goes through that. And then finally a finishing plate. Now this is the number 22 of the one-shot, so it does require special outside plates. The number 12 version does not. On the number 12, you can use either the special plates or just a regular number 12 plate. So we're gonna, before we put everything back in, we're just gonna
white oil one more time?
Yep.
Okay.
Dry these off and then white oil them.
Okay.
And the reason we're white oiling them is to prevent any friction from building up before the meat gets down in there. Now, while I do this, you want to...
I was going to say, is it worth me going ahead and loading?
Yep. We might as well start loading.
Switch up.
And a very little bit of white oil goes a very long way.
I also need to remember when doing stuff, I need a step stool.
Yeah, no. Especially with the 50-pound meat mixer, which we're going to use in a few.
Yeah.
We used to have a step stool in here, but people stole it.
We can't find it.
And then, I found a step stool that looks exactly like the step stool, but I was told that it is not ours, that it's always been where it is.
Likely story.
I agree.
How much do I load up into this?
Just as much. You can get it all in there.
Oh, you can get it all?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't need to be.
It's only 25 pounds. It'll get
cautious.
it all in there. So with our locking ring, we're gonna get it just hand tightened. We don't wanna ever use a locking ring wrench to tighten it. That is only if it ever gets stuck to loosen it. While we're doing that, we're gonna go ahead and start soaking our casings. We're using inedible 85 millimeter collagen casings.
Okay.
These are about 5 to 6 pounds. They'll hold about 5 to 6 pounds each. So we've got 5 of them here. This is warm water that I added salt to. So it needs to be about a 15% salt solution. It needs to be 15 degrees Celsius, and it needs to sit in there for at least 15 minutes. So we're just gonna let those sit.
By the time we're done with this, those will be ready.
Those will be nice and pliable.
Do we have the stopper?
Stomper's right over here.
Have they called it a stopper? Stomper.
Yep.
Can we find the stomper?
Yep, here it is.
There you go. All right, I'll switch you.
Now, in general, we shouldn't need this.
Really?
Yep, we should not
Because the
need...
one shot just does...
Yep.
Okay. This
Especially
is again why we use the one shot.
With the way that we have cut these into those long strips, all we'd ever use the stomper for is to get the meat to get picked up by the auger.
Okay.
We don't ever want to just start jamming it down to try to make it grind faster. What we do there is we'd actually create back pressure. Now with a one shot, we've already got a good amount of pressure. Do you see how this bells out back here?
Yeah.
Right. So we've already got a good amount of pressure because we're trying to grind it twice here. So we don't want to add any more.
Okay.
So
let's do it.
Clear a hole here so we can get some meat down in there. And we got 25 pounds.
Yeah.
We'll be done in just a few minutes. Now we're using a 3/16 plate here. You could also use a 1/8 plate. Pepperoni texture's a little bit up to you. With real fancy pepperoni, like if I dry cure mine, I will separate out the fat and grind that through a thicker plate so that I can see nice big chunks of fat. Yep, and just kind of pull it away as it comes.
This is the part that I know how to do. I know how to help move meat in the lug.
There you go.
This is what teamwork looks like, right?
That's right. So advantage of this one shot is we're going to be done with this process in just a minute or two. We don't have to, like you said, worry about refreezing the meat.
Yeah.
And we're going to keep our meat out of the cooler more.
Which grinder is this?
This is our 22.
Okay, why do we like the 22?
Versus a 32?
Yeah, versus 32 maybe.
I mean, a 32 is definitely more powerful. Just when we first started using all of these, I tried a few and the 22 was more than adequate for everything we needed. Okay. And I didn't feel like pulling a more expensive product out.
I mean, every time I've seen you use it, every time I've used it, it feels like it gets the job done.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like if we're working with somebody like, I don't know, say Travis. Yeah. Like I'd send him a 22. Okay. I send Nick Hoffman a 22. Okay. You know.
Do you know how long this can run before it has to turn off?
Yeah.
Or like before you have to let it rest?
It needs anything over, I think we say 20 minutes.
Pretty good.
You want to let it sit. But with the one shot, you're never grinding over 20 minutes.
Yeah. Unless you're doing...
I mean...
too many pounds at once.
If you're using a one shot and you're spending more than 20 minutes in a row grinding, you need a much bigger grinder. Okay. Because I don't know what this is, but what is this? 3-4 minutes we've been doing this?
Yeah, no.
And we're basically through 25 pounds. Okay. So I guess that's not true. I mean, you might be doing, get a couple buddies together and be doing a hog or something. And the 22 will work for that. Yeah. So I guess I'd take that back. You don't necessarily need a much bigger grinder.
Okay, so we're making pepperoni.
Yep.
Best thing you've ever put pepperoni in?
I mean, the easy answer to that is pizza, right?
But that's too easy.
Okay. So my mom makes every Christmas morning.
Ooh.
My mom makes pepperoni bread. So
what is pepperoni bread?
It's just bread. Like she'll buy whatever that, not the crescent rolls, but like basically a pizza crust in a can type thing.
Yeah.
Roll that out, put pepperoni and cheese in there, and some she'll make with Swiss, and some she'll make with mozzarella.
Okay.
And you bake that, and it's just
that sounds
absolutely delicious.
You know what my family used to eat for Christmas morning?
What's that?
We do monkey bread, which is literally bread just soaked in sugar.
Yeah, monkey bread's delicious though.
I like how you are going more of the healthy, like fancy route, and we're like, sugar!
Pepperoni and cheese and bread, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily call that
But you have all
healthy.
your main core food groups. You've got your fats, you've got your proteins, you've got your little bit of carbs. That is a complete meal.
It is a complete meal, fair enough. All right, so we're also going to use our 50-pound meat mixer. All right, so we're gonna hook up our 50-pound mixer to our 22 grinder. So you just need to line those up and then manipulate the axle until the cog lines up perfectly. Hold it back in, or tie this back down, or twist it back down, however you want to say it. Then we're gonna load all of that in there.
Is this like is it easier for me to just do this, or do you?
If that's easier for you,
well,
that's
I didn't know if it was easy to. Oh, we're doing great, man. Doing great.
You lost about 2 grams of meat there. I think we'll
survive.
Perfect.
That's exactly what we needed.
We'll survive.
Realizing be a little less in handfuls. I was thinking, was it easier to hold the tub or the lug up and just like dump it in?
You're gonna lose a lot that way.
Really?
I mean, I will at least.
I don't trust myself for any reason here. Yeah, you can put it back up.
Okay.
It doesn't need to be. I can reach it. Yeah, that's probably better.
Take one step back real quick. I'm just gonna grab that so you don't step on it.
Thank you.
Can we scrape the excess off?
Yes, sir.
Hamburger.
Da burger. You know, I'm a big fan of like the old school Pink Panthers.
Okay.
But Steve Martin did
a hamburger.
He did a good job.
I would like to buy a hamburger.
I said you said your dog does not bet. That is not my
dog.
Okay, still stuff on the front?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like on the front?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Got it?
Does it need to be wiped down? Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Is that fine?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can
I take my gloves off?
No.
Ah, dang. Okay.
I'm gonna have you empty it.
Okay, that works.
Okay, so
I just loaded, so
it just loaded? Oh, we just loaded. Gotcha. All right, so now we're gonna add our seasoning and our additives. So this is pepperoni. What makes it a pepperoni? One of the most important things it has to have in it is paprika, right?
Okay.
It's gonna give it that.
Because you know, like the history of pepperoni, like why is it paprika?
Well, because you want that really red color from it, right? Like
Okay.
Pepperoni is a red product.
When I think of paprika, I don't think of strong flavor as much as strong color.
Yeah. Yep.
Is that fair?
That's
Okay.
100% fair.
Okay.
Then we're gonna add some Excalibur Surjo.
Mm-hmm.
And this is 0.33 pounds, which is the perfect amount to use for 25 pounds of meat.
Is there a reason that we choose Sherdale as our binder?
As opposed to...
I don't know.
Oh,
anything.
Yeah. It's my favorite binder. I think it works better than any of the others. Binders like soy protein blend will tend to bind everything up too much. It makes stuffing more difficult.
Okay. Is that something you can use carrot fiber for, or is that a different category?
You can, but technically carrot fiber is a different category.
Okay.
Technically, it is a moisture retainer.
Okay.
So, you know, it's not a problem to use it in this, but I still would prefer people use Surjo.
It'd probably be weird. Okay.
Not weird, because people definitely do it, and it definitely has some binding properties, but it's not what it's designed for.
Okay.
Then this is encapsulated citric acid. We're going to wait to add this for the last 60 seconds. And then we're also going to add just a little bit of distilled water to this. It's such a large diameter casing that we're stuffing it into that I'm not going to add much at all.
Okay.
Just enough to help the mixing.
Okay.
But We'll turn this on. It'll start mixing.
Ooh, that is.
Yep, it is. That's the sure gel coming up.
Gotcha. So is there
That's
any
all the water I want to add.
benefit to something like that to start mixing it and then like slowly add in your seasoning so it doesn't get the? Because like if I'm baking a cake, that's what I'm gonna do with flour. Like I'm not gonna put it all in at once. I'm gonna slowly do it and put it on the lowest setting. But this doesn't have.
But isn't that the reason you do that? Isn't that so? Is that really just to prevent it from coming up?
The way I bake, yeah.
No. Okay.
And I've been successful with it.
Okay.
So
I didn't know that.
yeah, largely, if you were to have it on high speed, it would just
Boom.
blow up.
Um,
So I have done that many times too.
So with a 25-pound batch in here, we are gonna be a little bit better off than if you try and do less than a 25-pound batch. So the minimum you can use in a 50-pound meat mixer is 12.5 pounds, and I've done that exhaustively, like testing.
yeah.
With that amount, you're gonna have to constantly be scraping the meat off the sides, pushing it back towards the paddles.
Okay.
We don't need to do that as much with this, but we still want to occasionally go through and see how meat will just a little bit collect here. Now, it's got enough meat for the paddles to eventually collect it, but just push it back towards the middle. I know. I was gonna have you do this, but then I realized.
Yeah, no, I can't do that. Like physically, I can't.
Allie's too short.
Give me 2 more inches, and I can see. Okay, so if you were to fill it up like all the way, or say you have 40 pounds in it, do you have to do that even less?
Yes.
Okay, so
yeah,
the more
meat
full,
in there, because as the meat that's on the paddles at the moment passes the meat on the side, it grabs it and brings it with it.
Okay.
Because all this meat's starting to get nice and sticky.
I just had a realization too.
What?
We keep the lid off of this a lot of the time because we're filming it.
Mm-hmm.
But if we were to have the lid on, when you turn it on, it wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
So that
Yep.
gets rid of that whole thought. Okay. So use the lid. Lid is great.
The lid is helpful.
Encapsulated is last 60 seconds?
Last 60 seconds, yep.
Okay. I'm slightly convinced that like Sour Patch Kids and Sour Skittles just use encapsulated citric acid. Like I think that's literally all it is, right?
That is what they use.
Oh, it's so good.
We've had in the past people buy our encapsulated citric acid specifically for the use and production of gummies.
Okay, have we made any meat products that are supposed to emulate like a Sour Skittle? You wanted to do Kool-Aid, so so now.
No, the closest we came is we made some gummy bear brats.
Yeah?
Once. I hated them.
That bad?
I thought they were terrible.
Were they like gelatin in the middle?
No, they kind of, in my opinion, they kind of had almost a NyQuil-y taste at the end.
No.
We had a
Wow.
employee here at the time though who loved them, so I gave them all to her.
That's
All right, so we're checking for protein
good for her.
extraction. We want to see the meat nice and sticky. This is a good way to do it. You hold your palm or get some in your hand and hold it out flat so we're not cupping it and it's sticking there, right? Like
It was like the blizzard test, but for meat, right?
the blizzard. Oh, turning the blizzard upside down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, we
this,
did.
we're just checking a couple of spots. That is good protein extraction. All the meat's nice and sticky.
Sweet.
So go ahead and add in
Yeah, just whole thing.
whole thing.
Full send.
And
Yep.
then we will do this for about a minute just to let that get fully moved around in there. So our meat is done mixing. We've got good protein extraction. At this point, all we want to do is get that meat out of there. Now it's very sticky. So what we're gonna do is the bottom knob we're gonna pull out. Don't pull out the top knob. I've done that in the past. Then we're gonna push this all the way up
Got
against
you.
that. Hold this down.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna turn it down and hold this down. If you don't hold
So
it down,
you want me to hold
it's
that?
going. Yep.
Okay, I can do
And
this.
A couple of seconds, and most of it will feed
Okay.
right out. Oh, we've got a good amount going. There we go. Come on.
Come on, buddy.
Do it. There
Yeah.
we go. Well,
Great success.
huge success. Okay,
Huge success.
now, easiest way to do it
Make a
is to
little-
then take out this,
Okay. Oh, it was right there. I was like looking all over for that.
clean out our paddles.
Okay.
Now, do you want to load this?
It's going
Or
to take
you-
twice as long if I
Okay,
do it.
I'll do it.
So I think it's a great idea. I'll just keep
Then you can be done with
let's
gloves
keep-
for a while.
talking. So over Thanksgiving, I had some friends come into town, and we processed some snack sticks, and did realize we were using the hand crank stuffer, and it was my friend, her husband, and I, and she's probably about my height, and so we were standing at this counter, probably about the same height up here. The two of us trying to like reach the stuffer to crank it is not great. So like her husband, it was totally fine. But if I'm like trying to do this at home ever, like I'm going to use the electric.
Yes. I would recommend that.
I can't hold it down and crank and get the right stuff at the same time. It's just too much at once.
Now you can use suction cup feet on the manual stuffers.
And we did.
That will help. Okay.
Yeah.
That will help.
But you still have to have enough strength.
You still have to, yep.
And it's beyond strength and angling because it's hard to...
Up at top?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oop.
Oh, no. You can hear it, like,
yeah, you can hear
compressing.
you could hear the air come out, right?
Yeah.
So that's why we do all of these at angles.
Oh, so you're going every other one is an angle.
Is a different angle, yep.
Oh, okay.
The reason I'm doing that is to try to get as much air out of that as possible.
Yeah. So what happens if we do have air pockets in it?
Those air pockets are going to come out into our casing.
Okay. So our final product will just have.
Yep.
Okay. Am I good to get rid of this?
You're good to get rid of that.
All right.
Now, with a product like this, that is not the end of the world.
Okay.
With a snack stick, something like that, that's going to be a big problem.
Do I dump this out or leave the water in there while we start?
For now.
Okay.
So we're just going to start it down. We'll take one of these, get as much of the water out as we can, load it on, and then basically we're going to hold this here as firmly as we can within reason, because I have one time broken a tie on that because I was trying to see how much I could hold it on.
Our purpose of doing these videos is also to make the mistakes and figure stuff out for you.
Sure.
So you don't have to go do the things. We will mess things up for you instead. That is huge.
Yep, it's a 85 millimeter. So I'm holding it on there this tight to try and prevent any air pockets from being inside that casing.
Does it help if I do anything or just let you go?
Just let it go. So we're going to stop it just a couple of seconds short. Raise the piston to get a little bit of that pressure gone. Because if we just hit stop, more meat's going to continue to come out of there. And I probably pushed that further than I should have. Probably should have stopped that a couple seconds earlier.
Okay.
But we are going to get a hog ring on that when we're done. And then we will get that in the smoker. And that is going to make some delicious pepperoni.
Yeah. I like the size. Okay. Ooh. What are we making out of this? Like, obviously, we just made pepperoni. But what?
This will be perfect for sandwich pepperoni. This will be perfect size for sandwich pepperoni.
Let's do some quick math here. It is 9:40 in Wichita, Kansas right now. What time will these be done?
Like smoking?
Yeah.
These, look at the diameter of that.
I mean, it's going to be a bit.
Yeah, it's going to be a while.
So, like, end of the day?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we're going to step them up very slowly in temperature. We don't want to cause any heat shock to the proteins. So we're going to start it off probably at 120 degrees.
Okay.
Then we'll step it up in humidity. Oop, nope, I hit the wrong way. We'll step it up in humidity and temperature by about 10 to 15 degrees every hour.
Okay.
And then our final cooking stage, we'll probably have the temperature at 175 degrees. And trying to pass the heat all the way through efficiently into the center of that is where we're going to spend the majority of our time. Okay, so we're gonna hang these on a smoke stick. We're gonna put it in our big commercial smokehouse. Now, we're gonna be done with this in probably about 5 hours. If you at home are trying to do a pepperoni or a sausage of any kind of this diameter, it would take you a lot longer than 4 or 5 hours. So what I would recommend you do is put it in your smoker outside till the internal temperature of the sausage is about 130 degrees, and then finish it up in a sous vide cooker. You're really gonna have way more success with that, because trying to get the internal temperature of this all the way in the center up to 158, whatever you like to cook to, on that type of smoker is going to be a real pain. Without some form of ability to control airflow, humidity, you're looking at a really, really long smoke. So just easier if you do it with a finish in sous vide. We're gonna push this right down, try and get it as centered as possible. And where is my other, there it is. Just want to get through that casing. There we go. Straight down right into the center. When we open that next, those should look like delicious, delicious pepperoni. So, since these were so thick, we started them out with a 30-minute conditioning or drying phase. We then had them at 120 degrees, no smoke and no humidity for an hour. Raised it to 130, we added smoke and humidity. Then every hour we raised it about 20 degrees until we were finally at 175 degrees temperature. And we just cooked these until they were internal temperature of 160 degrees. That took a good amount of time. And our shower cycle was not adequate to cool these down enough. So I took them out and put them in to an actual ice bath. Now, one of the things, if you don't cool it down quickly or well enough, you're gonna have some problems separating the casing from the meat. And that's exactly what we ran into here. So
if we were to redo it, let's say we did this cycle again, would we change that last cycle, or would you just stick with the ice bath?
I would just forego the shower and go right into
Just
an ice
plunge
bath.
it. Okay.
This is just too thick for it to be able to
Yeah,
cool
it's a lot
with
of
just
meat.
a shower. So what we're trying to prevent is meat from getting stuck to the casing, just like that.
Yeah.
So right around the edge, that's okay if that happens, but we want to prevent it from really pulling it away. So because this is so wide, I put 2 slits in it, and I'm just pulling them down. And as you can see, that's separating pretty beautifully.
No, that's good. That's good.
Yep. And we'll just throw
trash.
that out. But if we don't do a quick kind of like jerk movement to get it
just
quickly away, yeah, we're
grabbing
just
the whole
gonna
thing?
pull it more and more. So it's just a quick try to separate it. I know it looks kind of funny.
No, it's like you're ripping the Band-Aid off of something, because I mean you pretty much are.
Yeah, yeah.
But I just feel that internal
Yeah.
freak out of like, oh, you gotta just rip it. Thank
There
you.
you go. And as you can see from this, I mean, it's got some good chunkiness to it because we did use a wider grind or a bigger plate than we normally would with a cured sausage. So just something to keep in mind. If you don't want that more of that textured appearance, you can just use a 1/8 plate instead of the 3/16 plate that we used.
Okay.
All right. So again, I'm just going to cut off the edges here.
Okay, the top of this is coming off pretty well.
And then just a very narrow, like not deep at all. Cut down one side, turn it. Same thing down the other side. Try and keep it straight. I went a little tilty there towards the end.
A little tilty.
And then just a quick rip, just like a Band-Aid. It's a good. Oops.
I'll take this from you.
Yeah.
Just kidding. There we go.
Okay, so this is what we're trying to prevent with these casings. We don't want them to start separating.
Okay.
It's multi-layered, so we're going to keep going from where it's peeling well, and then we'll just come from the other side and we'll do it fast. Oop,
Ah, so close.
didn't work. So we'll just have to clean that up a little bit. Right there.
Okay, so the diameter that we decided to do with these,
Uh-huh.
is that pretty average? Like
For
pepperoni, we decided to do a massive size.
we wanted a sandwich pepperoni.
Yes. But if you were doing a sandwich pepperoni, this
Then
would
yeah,
be...
this is a fine size.
Okay.
But not that many people at home are making pepperoni for sandwiches, right? Mostly they're making them just to snack on. All right, we're going to try from the other side because that side's giving me problems. this one definitely wants to grab onto that meat. We're not getting good casing separation at all. No, go past this. In fact, don't ever show this again.
Do not pass go. Do not collect 200.
From Spaceballs.
Oh, okay. Look like the Leaning Tower of pepperoni here.
Some of them are better cuts on the bottom than others. You know, some of them are okay. Abby.
Oh, I didn't even think
They're
about. I
not
wasn't
all
meaning that way.
bad.
I wasn't meaning
They're
that.
not all bad.
They look great. You
So,
did good.
like this is pulled up by the casing. This is just a void in the meat where there was some fat on the outside, and it just melted out.
So it's not an air pocket. That's just.
That's not an air pocket. That's just there was some fat that melted as we were cooking it. Okay. So now, because we're doing sandwich pepperoni, we're going to slice some of this up on our 12-inch slicer.
I want to eat this stuff.
So one of the things with pepperoni, or I've found at least, is generally they develop good flavor in the cooler over the first night.
Which feels like it's pretty on par with like what every sort of food product. Usually if you let it sit for a little bit, the flavors just get a little intenser.
Bit. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to try and cut this as thin as we can.
Okay.
And didn't we say we wanted intern in here for this or something? I thought you said that. No? Cameron?
No.
Okay.
Later she'll make roses out of the pepperoni.
Gotcha.
We don't need to do that right now. She's also gone for the day. Ooh.
Okay. So that is pretty thin.
So we think we could make a flour out
But I
of
would
that.
like it a little bit thinner. So we're going to press our luck here.
Smells really good.
Or say no deal on that one. That's better. But let's see if we can get it just a tad bit thinner. There, we've gone even thinner.
Okay.
I think that's about where we're going to
that's good.
max
that's
out,
good.
but we're going to try just a little bit thinner.
Okay.
That's still doing fine. I'm going to say that's as thin as we should go.
Yeah. I think it turned out pretty good. Oh yeah, now we're cooking. So yeah, Cameron told me you take a wine glass and you like lay the pepperoni in it. You just keep laying it in it and it eventually forms a rose and then you just turn it over and it pops out.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think you just like fold it like this and put it in and just keep going.
That
It
sounds
just makes a circle.
ridiculous, but since I don't know
It
anything
sounds
about it,
ridiculously
I will
easy. That's what I'm pumped
trust
about.
her.
So forget buying people roses.
Oh, I can finally save money on all the meat roses that I buy people.
Exactly.
That's going to be
That's got to be a thing, though,
huge.
right?
Now it
That's
doesn't
like,
even matter if I sell my house.
you can just sell meat roses instead.
No, just the money I'm going to save on meat roses.
Oh, there you go.
Okay. So we don't want to put too big of a piece on the slicer. Like I don't want to have it all the way up here. So something like 4 or 5 inches. It's going to take a while to slice through all this at that thickness anyways. And you can either catch them or let them hit and then pile up. You just want to be careful if you are catching them.
I don't
that
know.
blade is very sharp and spinning very, very fast.
Yeah, keep all appendages
Appendages?
appendages away. And I don't know if you're supposed to stack these or not. This just feels right, so I'm stacking them.
Go for it. Patrick has stolen a piece.
How is it, Patrick? Good?
Here's where we are. We had 25 pounds. We've got 4 logs left. We've sliced up a full log into sandwich-sized pepperoni that we can make sandwiches with. We can just use in charcuterie or you having friends over, put some out. Absolutely delicious. This definitely has some voids in it. You can see that. You saw how tight I was holding that casing on. With a home stuffer and a sausage of this diameter, you are going to get voids. It's really difficult to avoid. It's just avoid the void.
Yeah.
So that is going to happen. It's a defect, quote unquote, but unless you have a hydraulic stuffer at minimum and really probably a vacuum stuffer, that's going to happen. So,
look, but the reality is it tastes fantastic, which
is the most important part.
Looking at it, I kept thinking like summer sausage, until I took a bite and I was like, no, it's pepperoni.
Yeah.
Which is it's a weird mental game.
We processed it in a very summer sausage-like way.
Yeah.
You know, normally if you're buying a sandwich or normally if you're buying a pepperoni this size at the store, it's been treated with a culture to achieve the pH drop, stored for a while, and then put in the smoker.
Okay. So the ones at the store are also usually much more red.
Mm-hmm.
Are they adding food
Oils
coloring?
usually, yeah.
They are adding
Well, it's
food
an
coloring.
oil.
Okay.
No.
Some sort of an artificial, not just extra paprika.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, because this is more pink than red, really, obviously. I don't know if you know your colors or not, but
I don't really know my colors very well. I think we've been over this.
Well.
That I struggle with colors, and you're really good at them.
I'm excellent at them.
Yeah.
Not colorblind at all.
Not in the slightest, for sure.
So we made pepperoni today. Total time, take out smoking, less than 2 hours.
Yeah, it was actually a lot faster than I thought it would be.
Well, we're gonna vacuum seal all this up, and then these will be good in the freezer for a couple of years. Once we've sliced it, you know, we're gonna start oxidizing this, so a little bit less. My recommendation would be only slice what you're gonna eat in the next couple of weeks. Then still vacuum seal it and store it in your fridge.
Yeah, once you slice it, you're going to eat it fast, though.
Yeah,
It's a reality.
That's gonna be gone pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Subscribe to Walton's YouTube channel to check out more meat processing videos. Shop waltons.com to find everything but the meat. Or check out more handpicked videos by clicking here or clicking here.